Welcome, one and all. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. Haven't done this in a while. Haven't done a live stream in a while. But yeah, we are getting things back underway a little bit. I'm gonna try and I'm not able to do this as often as I would like. But every now and again, it's always good to just get one of these done and just gauge the opinion of you guys. I'm going to try and use this a bit more, try and get you guys on the opinions page a little bit on certain topics and certain things, and what a story we've got to come for you right now. Look, we're going to talk Champions League. This is how it's going to work. We're going to talk the main story. The main story, obviously, is today. Michael Edwards is, I don't think it's like officially announced, but it's more than officially, well, I'm not going to say more than officially announced. It's pretty much officially announced that Michael Edwards will be returning to Liverpool as a higher power role than what he was beforehand. And it seems that Richard Hughes is going to be announced as the sporting director. That is seemingly Michael Edwards' first piece of business to attend to upon his return to Liverpool. So we're going to be talking about Michael Edwards. We're going to be talking about Richard Hughes. We're going to be talking about other footballing things that you guys want to talk about. If that's what you want to talk about, we're going to talk about other things. Might even talk about a bit about the Champions League, anything else that may have happened at the weekend, little bits and pieces like that. And hopefully we'll get some of you guys with the comments, with maybe you can get involved with the audio stuff as well. Depends on if you guys are cool with that and everything. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting to talk about. But like I say, get involved, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Get involved in the chat. Hit me up with anything that you want to talk about, any of your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, questions as well. We'd love to hear your questions and everything else in between. But for right now, let's get on. We're talking about the main bulk of this video. Let's get on. We're talking about Michael Edwards and the return to Liverpool. Look. So we've obviously been hearing a lot about Michael Edwards, the potential return to Liverpool. He initially rejected Liverpool and a return to the club first and foremost, but then after a while, Liverpool kind of broke him down a little bit and offered him what he seemingly wanted. And over the past couple of weeks or so, it's been declared that, you know, meetings have taken place and there's other things that have happened behind the scenes that have seemingly twisted Michael Edwards' arm into returning to the club that, of course, he spent a decade in and was a big part of the beginning of the Jurgen Klopp era that has obviously seen Liverpool rise from mediocrity to being a top club again, big contenders for big trophies and everything else in between. Michael Edwards was seen as the brains behind the operation, as well as obviously alongside Jurgen Klopp and other people alike. So this, for me, was always going to be interesting if this was to happen. And according to Paul Joyce today, it is essentially done. I think we're just waiting on an official announcement from Liverpool themselves, but it's essentially done. Paul Joyce has said it. Fabrizio Romano said it. It is seemingly a done deal. A done deal. He put out a tweet that was obviously part of his article. He basically said that Michael Edwards will help to shape the post-Jurgen Klopp era at Liverpool after agreeing to return in a higher-powered role in which he will head football operations for club owner Fenway Sports Group. One of the first tasks will be to finalise a deal to make Richard Hughes Anfield's new sporting director. The 44-year-old announced last week that he was leaving Bournemouth at the end of the season. Edwards stepped down as sporting director 2 years ago and initially turned down an approach from FSG to come back after Klopp's announcement in January that he would be leaving at the end of the season. So Liverpool are making big waves, and obviously it needed to happen. When Jurgen Klopp announced he was going to leave, one of the key things that I was worried about was that I don't know if FSG have a contingency plan put in place for when Jurgen Klopp was set to leave. Now, of course, he announced to the club in November that he was probably not going to be here for after the current campaign. So obviously they had plenty of time to put that contingency plan in place. And obviously the big one was obviously Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards, like we said earlier, spent 10 years at the club, rose through the ranks behind the scenes, was obviously a major player in the Jurgen Klopp era when that happened. He obviously rose to sporting director, obviously was a big name that was heavily praised for, of course, bringing in fancy new signings and great signings at that, and finding real bargains out there, and obviously trying to use analytical data and things of that nature to obviously propel Liverpool and to obviously prepare them for the future. And although every transfer is a gamble, of course, they use that kind of data to their advantage. It's exciting and it's interesting and it's very intriguing. Michael Edwards returning. He knows the club inside and out. We know him inside and out. He seemingly got what he wanted originally, which is a higher role within the club, which I think is one of the main reasons why I think he left a couple of years ago. But it also shows that we've not really had any stability in this recent past couple of years. Julian Ward was set to take over from him, and that only lasted a year. I always forget this guy's name. George Schmacker? I want to say that's how you pronounce his name, but I think I've completely butchered it. That guy, I really do apologize. He came in, obviously, at the beginning of this season to take over from Julian Ward, who only lasted, like I say, a year. And things have not been the same since. Things have obviously not been to the kind of level that we would expect from Liverpool under Michael Edwards, which was very discreet, very, very closed off, very kind of cards close to our chest, and obviously very shrewd in our business. Now, we got away with it this past summer, but it wasn't exactly flawless. It wasn't exactly perfect. It wasn't exactly without its bumps in the road, especially when it comes to the sort of things like the Moises Caicedo deal, for example, and the Romeo Lavia deal, which was a complete car crash. Now, in hindsight, we may look back at it right now and go, you know what? To say that we came out with the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo especially, who nobody, including myself, and I hold my hands up in saying that, gave a chance to, it's actually turned out pretty damn well for us. But again, if things were to continue in that vein of form, it's only a matter of time before your luck somewhat runs out in that regard. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one from that point of view as well, which is obviously, like I say, it's going to make for interesting viewing in this post-Jurgen Klopp era. They needed someone, I think, that knows the club, especially if you're bringing in a new manager that's not going to know the club. I know Xabi Alonso is obviously a club legend to some extent at the club, but at the same time, he's been away from Liverpool for a number of years now. So he's going to obviously need someone that knows the club inside and out to help him, and putting that infrastructure in place and obviously getting that stability back that we've lacked for the past couple of years is obviously going to be a big step in the right direction for us to do that. And obviously Michael Edwards ticks that particular box. In terms of obviously him taking a higher role, I'm all for it. It seems he's going to be more on the analytical side of things, the recruitment side of things. He's going to have a big say in how the club operates off the pitch. And according to reports that I was reading last week, he may even have a big say in who comes in as the next manager after Jurgen Klopp. There is seemingly reports that he will have a big say in that. And as we know, Xabi Alonso seemingly tops the list of potential successors to Jurgen Klopp. There is also Roberto De Zerbi, of course, of Brighton, who has also been mentioned, and Amorim as well. And just as I'm live, actually, David Ornstein has just tweeted. Let me just bring this up. Michael Edwards named FSG CEO of football, resigns from Ludonautics. I think that's how you pronounce it. June 1st replaces Mike Gordon in charge of Liverpool. Will appoint sporting director Hughes to recruit Klopp's successor and help manage a second club. Turned down both Chelsea and Manchester United. So again, if you ever wanted to add the extra icing on top of this particular cake, he's also turned down two top rivals as well in Chelsea and Manchester United for this particular job. And it's actually interesting that David Ornstein puts here that obviously he's replacing Mike Gordon, so he's going to be running the more FSG kind of stuff. And he'll appoint obviously the sporting director and Richard Hughes, which we'll get onto in a little bit. And will recruit Klopp's successor and help identify and manage a second club. So there seems to be a lot going off with FSG that they're looking to expand off the pitch, and obviously Michael Edwards is going to be looking at operations on the pitch as well, in terms of this new story and in terms of obviously the Jurgen Klopp situation, which I think now that we've got the infrastructure seemingly in place, now that we've got the Michael Edwards deal sorted, now that we've seemingly got a sporting director on the verge of being completed as well, now we can start looking at a manager and we can really start building for next season as well. Even though the season isn't already over, we've still got to put the things in place. You don't want to leave it too late and you don't want to be playing catch up as the summer goes on, especially because we've obviously got to then look at players, who's going to be here next season, who's going to be leaving, what players are we going to bring in, what about the academy, who's ready to step up in that regard. So there's a hell of a lot really to get done, but it's good to see that we're making waves so early on during this moment. And obviously we're coming to terms with everything that's currently going on with obviously the monumental change that is set to take place at Liverpool going forward. We'd love to know what you guys think and feel on this. We'd love to know how what you guys think and feel on Michael Edwards' return to Liverpool. Of course, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could get involved. On the Richard Hughes thing, everyone's seemingly suggesting that it's pretty much a done deal for Richard Hughes. Richard Hughes, according to Fabrizio Romano, has already an agreement in place to join Liverpool. It will happen at the end of the season. After an excellent job at Bournemouth with CEO Neil Blake, he's going to leave at the end of the season to sign for Liverpool. He's part of Michael Edwards' plans. We know that obviously Edwards and Hughes have had a previous working relationship before, so it seems that obviously they're going to be on the same page pretty much. We know that Hughes has been getting a lot of praise and is a highly sort of guy behind the scenes, a guy that's seen and is put in high regard and was highly rated and was highly thought of, and I think was someone who a lot of clubs were interested in taking on their books at their particular club. So to say that we've got him as well is massive. I'm not going to say like his record is something I'm all too familiar with, or I'm going to say is entirely perfect from the little bits that I've seen and obviously from what I remember and from what I've researched at Bournemouth and things. But then again, show me a director that actually is perfect and I will show you a liar. But no, this is all positive by Liverpool standards. We're getting things out the way and done with early. We're getting obviously the building blocks in place to obviously go again next season. And I think we have to. I think when you look at what we've built this season, I think when you look at the players we have in terms of the youngsters, in terms of the ones that are just on the verge or in their prime, and the ones that are somewhat, at the top of their game still, but are getting on the older side of things. So the likes of Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk instantly spring to mind when I say that. If we were to bring in a Xabi Alonso, for example, obviously there will be a bit of a drop-off in my opinion because of the youth and inexperience of the likes of Xabi Alonso as a manager, but for what he could build at that club, the potential that club has, and from what is obviously the foundations that have been laid there, would be exciting to watch. And that's why I'm hoping it is Xabi Alonso, and I'm hoping that Michael Edwards can tempt him to leave Leverkusen at the end of the season and go to Liverpool, because it would just be fantastic if that was to be the case. Obviously, there's a lot more to come from that one, and obviously nothing's going to really happen on the manager front, at least not until the end of the season, I would imagine, because Leverkusen are currently in a battle to obviously produce a phenomenal season in regards to the Bundesliga title, which they are 10 points clear of as of the time of recording this and everything, as well as obviously going pretty strong in the German Cup, and obviously they've still got Europa League football to contend with as well. So there's a lot obviously to come from Leverkusen this season, a lot obviously to come from Xabi Alonso. I'm just hoping that Liverpool do get the job done with Michael Edwards at the helm, and with so we'll see on that one. Hypothetically, if you had a choice to engage those ones, if it meant Liverpool would win the treble, I mean, it's a strange proposal. I'm not sure my girlfriend would mind it too much. It's a very strange proposal you're suggesting right now. I mean, I would think that they would probably go on and win it without me having to conduct that, but to each their own. Hey, not judging, whatever. But thanks for the compliment, my guy, anyway. But no, thanks. So, Edwards, done. Hughes, pretty much done. On the verge of being done. Xabi Alonso, fingers crossed. Like I say, that happens. Obviously, we won't know a great deal about it until the end of the season. But yeah, we shall see on that one. It's all exciting, isn't it? It's exciting for that. And I'm actually surprised at FSG that we've actually got a contingency plan in place. I was so worried that when Jurgen Klopp was going to leave, that wouldn't be the case. I'm just happy that this is obviously happening. I'm happy that Michael Edwards is coming back. I think it'll be a good building block to have a guy who knows the club inside and out. So I'm hoping that will be the case for that one. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. I'm happy with that. Hughes would, like I say, I don't know a great deal about Richard Hughes, to be honest. But at the same time, I still hear good things, positive things. And like I say, from a little bit of research that I've done, he seems to have worked wonders with Bournemouth, and he seems to be highly rated. So hopefully them two can obviously put together that stability that Liverpool have been lacking so much in recent years. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great, obviously, to watch. Elsewhere in the news, whilst we obviously get people to comment on that. Anyone see the Kyle Walker interview yesterday? It's so weird. So weird. I've never known anything like the reaction to that penalty thing on Sunday. I've obviously said my piece on it. I said it in the post-match reaction video that I did. I said it in a video that I did yesterday about the aftermath to it, the reaction to it and everything. And then a few hours after I put that video out, I see Kyle Walker has done an interview, I think it was with Sky, to explain or to talk about the referee, and he basically said the referee showed good character not to crumble at the Anfield atmosphere. What? There's a couple of things that in my mind were completely bizarre about the reaction to that penalty thing. Number one, the penalty was a stonewall penalty in my opinion, and instantly Sky and whoever else brushed it completely under the carpet. They brushed it completely under the carpet. They said it. They were like, it's 50-50. I've seen them given. I've seen them not given. I can understand why you would give it. I can understand why you didn't give it. Let's move on. They completely brushed it under the carpet and then went, look at the title race. Look at this shiny title race we've got. Look at these 3 teams in the title race. Look at Arsenal. Look at Liverpool. Look at Manchester City. Oh, it's going to be exciting, isn't it? You want to tune into Sky every week. You want to tune into Sky game in, game out. You're not going to want to miss this because this is the title race. This is where the run-in starts. This is where we find out who's going to win the title. Look at it. Shiny, shiny. Oh, shiny, shiny, shiny. 3 teams. 3 shiny teams. Look at this. Separated by only a point or goal difference. If that doesn't scream to me like you just brushed it all under the carpet because you're that focused on making it a drama rather than getting the right decision, God help you. God help you. This is why I keep saying that this has been the worst season, in my opinion, for referee standards and VAR errors. And the reason for that is that I genuinely believe there is some sort of weird behind-the-scenes narrative that we need the drama aspect of it. We need to drag out the drama. What brings out the drama more than a dodgy VAR call? No one's cheating in this situation. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that this is legit or true. But you can't argue the logic in someone like me or anybody else believing that because they're so determined to get this 3-horse title race that we've not really seen in a long time. Normally, it's just a 2-horse race because 2 teams have separated themselves from the lot by this point, and it's just between those 2 teams. But this year is different. This year is unique. This year, we have 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 is the magic number. 3 teams that are, in this title race, separated by goal difference or by a single point. And with Arsenal taking on Manchester City in a few weeks' time, that's only going to increase the drama. It's only going to increase the viewing figures. And Sky are loving every second of it. And then you get the Kyle Walker interview. Explain the Kyle Walker interview to me. No one in the history of ever having a dodgy decision has ever gone on an interview afterwards and either benefited from it to praise the referee or has come out and gone, well, unless obviously you're in a post-match interview, but Kyle Walker wasn't even in a post-match interview. He was just giving a random interview to Sky about it. It's weird to me. And ironically, he praised the referee's performance for being good. That referee should have booked Kyle Walker in the first half. Kyle Walker had 2 very cynical, very poor fouls on Szoboszlai, I believe, and he didn't book him. So, of course, he's going to praise him because he didn't book him. It's madness to me. It's madness that they all swept it under the carpet. It's madness this interview even happened. It's a madness to me. I don't understand what that interview was meant to achieve. Was it meant to be some sort of mind games? Was it meant to be some sort of, again, adding to the drama aspect of what we're seeing right now in the Premier League? I don't get it. I seriously do not get it. I'd like to know what was going on here. I genuinely like to know what was going on here. Yeah. I don't know. It's such a bizarre response. The former referees had no idea what they were talking about either on it. I'm baffled by it still wasn't given. No one else can fully comprehend why it wasn't given. Yeah. And then to top it all off, Sky kind of brush it under the carpet a little bit, and then they bring out the guy who benefited from a guy representing the team that benefited from it most, to obviously explain why the referee did a good job. It's weird. It's simply weird. And to top it off as well, last week when Liverpool somewhat benefited from a drop ball decision that should have obviously gone in Nottingham Forest's favour, There was an outcry. There was a pouring out of emotion. There was cries of cheating. There was cries of a monumental error. Mike Dean literally went on Sky calling it a monumental error. Monumental for a drop ball that happened in the first half as well, that resulted in the exact same thing happening where Liverpool should have had the ball, but it went to Forest instead. It happened in the second half as well. That was seen as a monumental error. And even despite the fact that that drop ball happened 2 minutes before the Darwin Núñez dramatic goal in injury time, that was seen as a monumental error. And this one gets very little coverage at all. And the coverage it does get is weirdly biased to the team that benefited most from it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Can someone help me in explaining? I just don't get it. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, it was a very weird response, and I want to know if that interview was going to come out anyway after the game, or whether it was just because of the controversy. I want to know what the hell Sky were thinking. It's just baffling to me that I'm just baffled. I'm just completely baffled by the entirety of the situation. It was so weird to me. It was so weird. But yeah, there we go. Nothing we can really do about it now. We have to move on, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next week, obviously, when Premier League is only half there for half the teams, and obviously the FA Cup happens, either something in that game or something in the following games to come after the international break will obviously be something similar to what we saw in that game. And I'm sure the result will be different. I'm sure the result will be different. He kicks him in the chest, and apparently that's not a foul. So, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Chelsea won last night. Big win for the Blues. Let me just bring up. I can't remember what the league table is saying, to be honest. I'm just going to bring up the league table here. Yes, Chelsea with a big win last night. They moved from 11th to 11th. So congratulations to them. Look, big win for Chelsea. In all honesty, big win for Chelsea. 3-2 against Newcastle. Cole Palmer is just absolutely outstanding. He's been a bright light in an otherwise dark season for the Blues. You can also have a look at maybe one or two other players that are in blue as being okay this season or passable. Gusto, for me, is another one that fits in that kind of category. So that's one as well. But yeah, Cole Palmer is just absolutely outstanding. Neat little finish from Nicholas Jackson gets the game underway. Newcastle equalised near half time. Alexander Isak with a beautifully well taken goal. It was a lovely finish from the Swedish striker. But then Chelsea afterwards take control. Cole Palmer smashes the ball into the back of the net to make it 2-1 and restore Chelsea's lead. They then make it 3-1. Mykhailo Mudryk with a very well taken goal. I still back Mudryk. I still think there's something with this Mudryk guy, but it's about him. He seems to me like a situational player. Against Newcastle, with them playing so high and with him being so quick, it seemed like it was a very good situation for him to be in. I think if you're playing against low block teams, I don't think he has the ability or the patience to right now to sort of break down that kind of unit and that kind of defensive structure. So I think Mudryk for right now is a situational player. But in saying that, I still think that there is probably something to this guy still, and I still think this guy could still come good for Chelsea in the long term. And then Jacob Murphy fired in what proved to be a consolation goal, but made it very interesting for the final few minutes as Newcastle only managed to get a couple of goals back. It was 3-2 in the end to Chelsea. Big win for them, like I say. Some sort of European football at the end of the season isn't completely at the realms of possibility, but they need to put together some consistency. And of course, as we know, consistency and Chelsea do not go hand in hand this season as of right now. But maybe it's the ignition point for Mykhailo Mudryk in particular. Cole Palmer continues to be Cole Palmer, and maybe Mauricio Pochettino will maybe kick on from this point forward. Who knows? I doubt it. I still reckon they're in for more yo-yo-y, up and downy type of season. But it's still a big win. As for Newcastle, I don't know what's gone wrong with Newcastle fully this season. I know they've had to suffer with injuries and there's been other off-the-pitch issues as well, which hasn't helped. But they just seem done and dusted as far as what I'm concerned. They just seem like they want the season to be over already. And I'm just wondering, what is going to happen with Newcastle? I know that obviously the FFP stuff is really clamping down on them and biting them very hard. So I'm wondering if the FFP stuff is going to be interesting to the point where maybe they have to sell a couple of prized assets. And if that is going to be the case, I know where a certain Bruno Guimaraes can go in the summer. There's a nice little spot in Liverpool where, he maybe can fit on the red side of things very, very nicely. But no, in all seriousness, it'd be interesting to see how things continue with Newcastle. Obviously, big win for Chelsea, big loss for Newcastle. Interesting to see how Newcastle fans feel about their season and everything. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. We'll have to wait and see how they both do in that. Yeah. Simple as that. Chelsea 3, Newcastle 2. Big win from Mauricio Pochettino's side as their quest for some form of European football continues. Although their inconsistency will probably raise its rear head in the next Premier League game because they've obviously got FA Cup coming up this weekend. And it's actually a good thing because it means they get their game against what would have been Arsenal postponed for a few weeks' time, which can only be a good thing because with the form that Arsenal are in and with the poor form that Chelsea are in, Arsenal probably would have absolutely hammered them. So probably a good thing that Chelsea have got other commitments in other competitions. For right now, at least. Champions League tonight. It is kicking off once again. And we've got a couple of big games. Obviously, we've got a couple of big games coming up tomorrow as well as obviously the quarterfinal draw. I want to say this is the last bit of the quarterfinal. Round of 16 draw, Round of 16 draw, not quarterfinals. Round of 16 draw is coming to an end this week, which means we'll know, I think the draw is either Friday or Monday or something in regards, or maybe it's the week after, in regards to the quarterfinal and semi-final draw because they do them together. Arsenal have all to do at home at the Emirates tonight. They've got to overturn a 1-0 deficit when they take on Porto. I think they'll do it pretty comfortably. I want to say that Porto will sit 10 men behind the ball and hit them on the counter-attack with the two pacey wingers that they have at their disposal, and maybe even nick something more. But I think Arsenal will absolutely suffocate them and get the job done. As much as I want to say that Arsenal get knocked out of this competition, I can only see one winner, and that is going to be the Gunners. They'll overturn that 1-0 deficit, and they'll probably win pretty comfortably by 3-1, which will make it 3-2 on aggregate. I think that obviously Arsenal will probably dominate. They'll get a couple of goals. Porto will get one back to make it interesting, and then Arsenal will kill the game off later on. Elsewhere, Barcelona taking on Napoli, all to play for at the Camp Nou, with a 1-1 draw being played out in the first leg. So that one's going to be interesting. I would suspect Barcelona will go through with them having the home advantage in the second leg. And I did say that in a round of 16 prediction video that I did a few weeks ago when this was all kicking off. So I am backing Barcelona still in that one. Atletico Madrid are taking on Inter Milan. I think this one was a bit of a toss-up, but I think I went with Inter. To get the job done. I don't remember what I went for. I might have gone Atletico with them having the home advantage in the second leg, but I think I went with Inter just. I don't remember. Anyway, if I didn't, I'm switching it to go Inter. I think Inter will play smart. I think they'll probably grind out some sort of draw to get through to that to the quarterfinal stages. And then, of course, Borussia Dortmund are taking on PSV. Bit surprised. I thought Dortmund may have had the first leg done and dusted, but everything is still to play for there after a 1-1 draw in Eindhoven a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Big game, that one coming up for both of them sides. Again, I did predict Dortmund to win, and that is what I've gone for in my prediction, and that is what I'm sticking for with Dortmund. Yeah. Big night, big couple of nights of Champions League action. We've obviously got Europa League coming up this week as well. We've got FA Cup at the weekend. A few Premier League games are mixed in there. We'll obviously do some sort of videos later on in the week in regards to the FA Cup, and probably we'll do one on the Premier League as well. But yeah, overall, it's very interesting stuff that is coming out footballing wise over the past few days or so in the aftermath of the Liverpool Manchester City game, of course, in regards to Liverpool and the changing of and the modifications that are being made behind the scenes at Anfield in terms of a new CEO, new sporting director, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I would suspect, like I said earlier on in the video, later on in the season, we probably will get more talk of a new manager. Be interesting to see what happens if Leverkusen do wrap up the Bundesliga title sooner rather than later, because you would strongly suspect that if that was to be the case, then maybe things might escalate, and maybe and maybe with it obviously being wrapped up, things might escalate. But then again, they've still got competition on different fronts as well. So they've still got the Europa League to play through. They've still got the German Cup to play through and things of that nature. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that one. A lot of things, obviously, to sink our teeth into and to look at. But yeah, and for one, I'm very excited with the way that Liverpool are going right now. I'm looking at various different things, and I'm actually impressed with the way that we've adapted. I'm actually impressed with the way that we're looking at changing different things. Yeah, I can't really say anything else too badly about it, to be honest. So I'm not sure what everybody else thinks. I'm not sure what the overall gauging the opinion is. I think for the most part, I think everybody's pretty much happy about the return of Michael Edwards, to be honest. And I think Richard Hughes, seems to be a strong appointment as well. And like I say, if we're going to have trust in Michael Edwards, then we've got to have trust in this guy as well. So very interesting to see all of this stuff come to fruition. Like I say, big stuff going off in the footballing world for the past few days. We'll see how everything continues to unfold. We'll see how everything continues to unfold. So, yeah, big stuff. Big stuff. Big stuff. Big stuff. Yeah, Champions League tonight, like I say, Europa League Thursday, Premier League over the weekend, along with FA Cup stuff as well. Liverpool taking on Manchester United. That's obviously the big one in my opinion, but you've also got Manchester City against Newcastle. You've obviously got Chelsea against Leicester, I believe. And I think the other one is like Wolves against, I want to say Coventry. But I don't remember. I want to say Coventry. It is Coventry. I was right. Why do I doubt myself? Yeah, so Wolves against Coventry, that's on the Saturday. That's the lunchtime game. Manchester City versus Newcastle will be the Saturday night game. Chelsea-Leicester is the lunchtime kickoff for your Sunday viewing, and then it's rounded off with a 3:30 kickoff between Manchester United and Liverpool at Old Trafford. Huge, huge games coming up as we obviously count down till the end of the footballing season. This is where it gets interesting, people. This is where the intensity brews. This is where everything gets more and more exciting. Yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think and feel all on that good stuff. As we go about our business, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be intriguing. Cannot wait for everything to come about. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Fun. Yeah, I'm going to round it off there then. It was great talking to you all. Like I say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you think and feel, your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section. Let me all know about anything that I talked about in this video, whether it be the Michael Edwards stuff, whether it be the Richard Hughes stuff, whether it be about Chelsea winning last night. The weird Kyle Walker interview as well was in there as well as obviously the Champions League action. Do you think Arsenal will qualify? Do you think Barcelona will, Dortmund and Inter, or whoever else will? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, on all of that stuff down below. Sure, I'm interesting, great reading. If you haven't already, please hit a like on the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, Fletch Talks live stream, whatever you want to call it. That'll make whatever. Fletch Talks live stream. And yeah, thank you all for stopping by and watching. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to see me and to talk to me and to do all that good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch for the rest of this week at least. And then we have the boring international break. Fantastic. Boring international. Ugh. It's not fun, is it? International break is so not fun. It's just making me sad thinking about it. Yeah, just before I go, the one thing I will say about this international break, though, the international break in this one is I don't necessarily mind this one as much. You know, when you have the whole summer away from football, and then you come back and you have like a couple of games, and then you get the October international break, and then you get the November one, you get the September one, then you get the October one, and then you get the November one. Like, they are pointless. Just get rid of the September and October one. Have one in November and then one in March. Because at least the March one, to me, I don't necessarily mind the March one as much, because it's like you get a couple of weeks break, and then once you're back, you know that is when it's go time. You know that is the final run into the season. There's no more distractions. There's no more breaks. There's no more stopping of momentum. You know it's go time, and you know you just got to play and play and play and play and play. That's the only thing I kind of like about the international break. And ironically, the thing I like about it isn't actually anything to do with the football of the international break. I don't care for England. I don't care for Gareth Southgate. I don't care what team he's going to be picking, because I know that he's probably going to pick wrong. And I know he's going to pick players that are probably going to get injured on international break. And they're probably going to be Liverpool players as well. And we're going to have to deal with more injuries. So I don't care. I don't care about the international break. I think I'm going into madness. Aren't I? Anyway, that's my rant over. That's my rant over about international football. I don't care for it. I'll obviously watch it when it's a major tournament, as I will in the summer when the Euros are going to be on, and it's going to be fun and exciting and entertaining. But until that point, Gareth Southgate, England, get in the bin. I do not care. Like I say, you should be picking the likes of Joe Gomez and Harvey Elliott, but I hope you don't, because you'll only get them injured. So, yeah. fingers crossed they don't actually get picked. As much as I want them to succeed and to be great on every level of football, I just know that if they are given to Gareth Southgate, he'll run them into the ground even more. He'll probably get his players to injure them or something. It's stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, like I say, thanks for all for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll speak to you all again very, very, very soon. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Cheers, guys. Peace out.